Alright, quick walk around of the Obutto gaming cockpit workstation slash desk that I've recently set up. I'm using this for both work, because I work from home, and gaming. Wife's cat will be assisting. Make this pretty short, and then I'll get into the setup for flying in DCS or Elite or what have you. But in a nutshell, yes, this is good. Yes, I recommend it. Yes, you should buy one. But you should be aware that there are some small little quality fails here and there that may upset you if you are a particularly sensitive person and you think you deserve everything, you know, in Bentley quality. It's not that. It's not top quality throughout. There are little things here and there, but it's nothing you can't live with or work around. So, end verdict, love it. It's relieved much of my back pain. I'm 6'3", so that's always a concern for me. This is the workday configuration, or configuration for playing just your average WASD game, mouse and keyboard. And there are two primary frames. There's the frame that the seat is attached to. You can see my race lights under there. Love it. Frame the seat's attached to is very sturdy. It attaches to the base frame over there. You can see the two arms leading up to the spine, as they refer to it, underneath which is the rudder pedals and the cap. And the monitor stand is a freestanding structure all on its own. It is not attached in any way, and it can be moved around and moved to suit, which is a good thing. I believe they've done that so when you get way too excited driving around your racing simulator or flying spaceships, you don't knock the monitor around and jiggle it. That would look pretty crappy. The racing seat comes with a standard headrest here to compensate for the fact that you are not wearing a racing helmet, I hope, or any other helmet while you're sitting here playing video games. If you are, you're probably still single. In any event, the options here I've purchased with it are the acrylic tabletops, the 5.1 speaker surround mounts, the flight stick mount, which includes a throttle and a center stick mount, or it can be side stick if you want to pretend you own an F-16. All good. So the price as shown with all the stuff that I've ordered with it is $1,300, maybe a little bit less than $1,300, and that was all in, including freight, coming out to Dallas. So that's pretty good, actually. The seat is really quite nice. I've heard some complaints about it. I think it's great. I mean, it's no Sparco, don't get me wrong, but it's good, especially for the price paid. And the only accessory I didn't get was a triple monitor mount, because I don't have 3 monitors. I probably will shortly, just so I can get rid of this little 22 over here that I have on one of the acrylic tabletop arms, and then put two 28s on the side there. But I think I would recommend getting that. I think I probably should have got that when I ordered it. Lessons learned, I think a trackball would be a good replacement for that mouse, because there's not a lot of space here, so I'll probably be getting one pretty shortly. One of the nicest features here is a cup holder. Comes in very handy. As you can see, all the accessories mount down there. There's my flight stick and gear just chilling because I'm working today. Well, I'm not working right now, but it is the work day. The only work I had to do to customize this and make it work for me was get a piece of Simpson strap from Home Depot and stick it in the drill press and extend the 5.1 speakers out around the monitor, because the LG 35 ultra wide is not a normal people monitor, apparently. No big deal. Pretty easy. Only real gripe about the base frame itself is wire management. I kind of feel like they could have done better with that, but it doesn't bother me in any way. It doesn't look, it's not super clean. It's clean enough. It's not retardedly messy, I don't think. I'm sure somebody watching this is having a seizure right now because they're OCD about wires, and that's not me. So it's not bad. It could be better on the wire management side. You notice I've removed, or I've not installed the steering wheel mount because I don't race cars. At least not anymore, I don't. I used to race the real ones, and those are a lot more expensive than this. But it's incredibly sturdy. This whole steel tube cage here, I mean, I'm pretty sure you could run it through a wall at 100 miles an hour and it'd take you with it safely and punch right through 2 sheets of drywall or sheetrock, so it's very, very sturdy. Everything moves, is on a swiveling arm, comes out of the way to allow you to easily and comfortably get in and out of your desk. Don't leave your mouse over here when you move the keyboard tray, because you'll have a tendency to throw the tray around at speed, and then your mouse goes flying into the distance like a pool cue. And obviously this is a lot smoother when I'm sitting in the chair. Right now it looks like I'm an awkward drunk. So, there we go. Climbing it out with all kinds of room to spare. In fact, this actually goes all the way around the front of the cage there, and then this is a pretty convenient handhold to pull yourself in and out. It's like, so this thing weighs a ton. It's very sturdy. It's very, very, very well built. Assuming you don't screw up when you're assembling it. Fasteners are all pretty good. So that's the workday configuration. That's about it. I can go into a couple of little things if you guys want in the comments. I mean, with regards to the quality issues, the keyboard tray, I popped a weld on an adjustment, a fixed nut for the set screw adjustment. Probably my fault, but I ended up working around it, and the keyboard is fine. Those set screws are for correcting slop in the tray leaning kind of to one side or the other, which I managed to work around on mine. It's all good. The seat is not, the rails are a little bit off. It's hard to see here, but if you look a little closely, the seat is not perfectly aligned. It looks like it is at the moment, but the seat was not perfectly straight when I first got it in. It was cocked to the left. And I fixed this by messing with the sliders because they ended up being the culprit. They were not exactly straight. So worked around it. It's all good now. I mean, it's nothing to complain to anybody about or write a bad review by any means. It's all good. That's really about it as far as build quality that I observed during assembly. Everything else was absolutely totally solid, and the powder coating's good. Everything else is good. If you want to add, I mean, the rudder pedal tray, I had to drill a couple of holes because that tray is really built for racing pedals, as in throttle, brake, and clutch, not rudder pedals. But it works just fine, and it's all keyed in straight and works well. Those things are great, and I can stand on them my whole weight and won't go anywhere. If you want to ask about specs on my computer and the various peripherals I have here and discuss that, you do that in the comments. But as you can see, I do have my proudly displayed GTX right there at the side of my case. Kicks wholesale ass. I recommend it. It's a 1070. And now on to flying. The cat will assist once he's done eating whatever he's trying to chew on. And that's it. Back. Flight gear is all installed. Takes about a pair of minutes to do. Has to be do it sitting in the chair because there's no way you're getting in and out with all this stuff sitting here where it is. First, the stick base goes in. Screw the stick on. Choose my springs. Springs are up there stored in the spine, so they're easy to get to. Mount up my little mouse table, which I've constructed using the Obutto stock shifter mount and one of the acrylic tabletop surfaces, which I then replaced with my secondary monitor. I basically use that just for Microsoft Outlook during the workday. That's about all it's for. Throttle goes in on the left. Swing the keyboard tray around with the keyboard and swing the left acrylic tabletop around with my keypad and my 10 key. I use my keypad for ATC commands in DCS and a couple of little functions in Elite or Rise of Flight, other games I play. Very, very handy. Of course, I put my cell phone there on the left, so I keep it the whole time. Everything's right at hand, everything's accessible. There are little quality fails here and there throughout the Obutto where you kind of wonder what happened, but there are so many points of the cockpit that prove to you, they show very clearly that whoever designed this really had their head screwed on straight. Everything is very ergonomic. Everything is completely configurable, both in height and in placement. You can bring the keyboard tray up and down, you can bring the stick up and down, the throttle up and down, left and right. The acrylic tabletops can go literally anywhere. They move, all around the cockpit. Monitor, same thing. Chair slides back and forth, so very adjustable. You can mount it forward on its rails if you're short, mount it all the way back if you're tall. I'm tall, so it's all the way back. Wire management's really the only gripe here. I mean, there's nothing you can do here about the back because the chair has to be able to slide, so there has to be some slack. This is, of course, full back, so the wires are taut, well, relatively tight. But yeah, this is what I'm flying when you watch my really boring videos every so often on YouTube, where I'm pretty much just doing touch and goes and putting around and farting around, going from point A to point B to point C and so forth. But that's really what keeps your skills the sharpest flying with a simulator. That's kind of, in my opinion, what makes a simulator worthwhile, is if you can get some real practical flight time experience out of it. I haven't been able to go flying as of late because it's not cheap to fly in real airplanes, so I stick with my E-planes. It's actually a lot cheaper, even with the cockpit here. So, I really am thankful for how realistic DCS is, especially the tail draggers. They feel very much like the real thing. And with a nice setup like this, I know that I'm getting quality time, keeping my stick and rudder skills relatively sharp rather than letting them go to waste and letting them rust over the time between, you know, one flight and my last flight, my next flight. So, like I said, all in all, for $1,300 all told, not including all my toys, because as you can see I have a lot of toys. I got my Track IR, I got a big widescreen monitor. If you have multiple monitors that are the same model, or you have 3 monitors, I do recommend the triple mount. I will probably be getting the triple mount myself early next year to put a pair of probably 27s or 28s on the left and the right, and then I will dispose of this HP over here and probably put this little side tray, you know, back where it goes, like the one on the left, and I will probably move to using a trackball. So, I know trackballs did seem to die back in the early 2000s. They kind of did, but in this cockpit environment where you have all these little trays that are movable, I think that a trackball is the way to go. I think it will just be easier rather than trying to make, which I've done here, you know, try to make mouse real estate so I have room to move it around. The trackball will probably be, almost certainly be much better. I'll be able to put it on the acrylic tabletop on the right when I detach that HP, and let my elbow rest in a more natural position, which is better for your shoulder. You shouldn't really have armrests on your chair, or while you're flying especially, because A, it's unrealistic, you don't have armrests when you're flying, in almost any airplane, and B, resting your elbows above waist level when you're sitting for long hours at your desk is bad for your shoulders. That's not a natural posture. Eventually it screws with your shoulders. I know I've had back issues most of my life because I'm very tall. So, you wanted a walk around, that's a walk around.